Hello and welcome to NRI News 24x7. This is Rizwan Syed, your host. Today we will have a conversation with Shrenik Ghodawat. He is the MD of Sanjay Ghodawat Group. Our conversation with Shrenik will be around his journey with the Sanjay Ghodawat Group, his leadership, and his innovations. Shrenik, what was the time when you joined the Sanjay Ghodawat Group?
So it was in the year 2007. I completed my graduation, did my bachelor's in business management, decided that I'll work for about 2 years before I do my master's. Little did I know that, once you enter into the business fraternity, it's very tough to get out of it. It's sort of a maze which you develop a lot of liking for. And, being from a Marwadi business family, from a very early age, we are trained to get into the family business. My father was very kind to take me everywhere where he went for business meetings, and that was the sort of induction that happened for us. And this started when I was 6 years or 7 years old.
Wow.
Right? So it was, and it's very common in most of the business families here, to start training the son or the daughter, for that matter, today into the business vertical. There is no compulsion that you need to join, but it gives you a good head start. It teaches you what is happening in the external world, how to behave in a meeting, how to talk to different people, what kind of ideas and conversations that are generated out of these meetings. And this is something which came as a head start to me. So when I joined in 2007, we were a sizable group. We diversified into multiple businesses, but each of these businesses needed a lot of direction and a lot of thought process, a lot of technology upgradation that started coming in with the newer generation joining the business. So what my father had created was a very rock solid base for us, and it was up to us how to utilize that particular platform and take it forward.
So as you said, your dad created a rock solid platform for us. Which business avenue was of more interest to you, or how did you look at the current business avenues in front of you when you actually joined the business?
So there was never a compulsion from his side that, this is the business that you need to look at, or this is what you should do. He said that, listen, Shrenik, I have done all of these things. It's not necessary that you need to continue and grow each of them. I think the time and, the macro environment will suggest, what are the directions and steps that you need to take into. But he was very sure that, when I joined the family business, he put me into the unit which was a loss-making business, right?
Okay.
So typically what happens is you put your only son into the biggest business that is there, but then the learning becomes a little tepid, and he was very sure that if I go through the failures and I learn from them, it will only make me stronger to look after the larger businesses of the group. And it was his forethought that today makes me even stronger than what I thought I would be, makes me trust my abilities to solve problems, makes me trust my abilities of creating teams, and 100% credit goes to him for it.
When you took charge of this loss-making unit, what was your strategy? How did you convert this unit, and where is that unit today?
So, so it was a very small business for our organization, but it was also something which was causing a bit of a pain, in terms of management, because it was an engineering project and we were not into engineering businesses back then. It so started in 2007 that I was put onto the shop floor. It was very necessary for me to understand. First 6 months, I didn't know what I was doing, and I'd be lying that I figured it out on day one. But it took me about 6 months to just understand why things were happening in the way it was happening. And that is when I used to go back to my father, talk to him, seek his advice, seek the advice of all the other elder members in our family and in the businesses. And that sort of gave me a head start in understanding why we are doing what we are doing and why is it creating a loss. I went and met most of the customers that we were supplying these wind turbine towers to, and they started telling me what exactly do they want, and that taught me a very big lesson, that if you don't listen to your consumers, no matter what you do, how good your product is or how good your facilities are, you're going to fail. And that kind of catapulted the growth for us. We started making better towers. We started focusing on what the consumers exactly wanted, started customizing products for them, and that sort of turned around the business from where we were making about 50 towers a year. We started making 600 towers a year. Wow. And where we were about 60 people or 70 people in the organization, we took it to about 400 people before in 2013 exiting the business completely and selling it off to a German Spanish company which took over the entire vertical from us.
So you typically have journey an entire startup from start to finish.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to hear out from you how you have turned basically a loss-making unit into a profit-making unit, and that too at such a level where you've been able to sell that business off to a European company.
But I should also add to it that it's just not me who did it, right? So it's a whole team that worked around it. Obviously, when you're sitting on the top, you have the responsibility to take care of everybody. Right. But it is each of those frontline people, each of those engineers, each of those planning guys, the accounts and finance team, supply chain, all of these guys work together. We just had to put a vision together, but it is eventually the team that helps you achieve that vision. And
absolutely,
I cannot take any credit onto myself, but it is 100% to the team and to all the people that who worked along with us at that point of time.
I agree with you, and it's really great that you are giving so much importance to your team. I think that's the attitude and the approach which makes a difference.
Sure. Yeah.
So, Shrenik, as you yourself have just stated that customer experience and customer demands and requirements are a very important aspect of the business.
Yeah.
So, what is the policy and strategy for giving a better customer experience and evolving your customer experience at Sanjay Ghodawat Group?
Yeah. So, I think somehow we try to complicate what a customer wants, and it's most of the companies that come up with these fancy marketing campaigns and try to induce a customer behavior or a purchase behavior. But I think if you break it down into simple words, what does customer really want? He wants something which is of a very good quality. It is something which he can afford, and it is available at the right place at the right time. This is basically what a customer exactly wants. Today we can come with the most amazing technology and the best of the features. Imagine if your phone came with a technology which was fantastic, it was out of this world, but you didn't know how to use it. The phone is absolutely going to fail. And today if you look at the large phone companies, they have simplified the smartphone usage to a way that even a person who's not educated can use them very well. So, this is exactly what we should do in each of our businesses. Break down the complexities of technology, break down the complexities of your product to the exact requirements of the customer to ensure that his wish or his requirement is fulfilled, and give it to him at the best possible price. Making profit is good, but exorbitantly making profit on a particular product is also not going to be a long-lasting ecosystem. So I think from a customer retention policy at our group, we are very clear: give our customers the best, give it at the best possible price, and ensure that you keep repeating that ecosystem with the best quality available with you.
So, Shrenik, you have B2B customers and your B2C customers.
Yeah.
Now, is there a different way of handling these two customers, or both? How do they behave in India?
So, essentially, a customer is a customer, right? Okay. So, be it B2B, B2C, D2C, we have all these fancy terms today, but a customer is a customer. Obviously, when you're supplying it to a institution, their requirements are different, their quality specifications are different. When you're doing it as a contract manufacturing or a private label party, their requirements are different. Each of these companies will have their own standards. And whereas when it's your own customer buying your own brand, his requirements are completely different. But as such, the behavior of each of these consumers, be it B2B or B2C, is very similar. They also want the best quality product at the best price, and so does the B2C consumer also. So we focus on all of these as a unified platform. It doesn't matter whether I'm manufacturing for a multinational company or I'm manufacturing for my own brand or my own consumer. Quality stays at the epitome, and we don't compromise in it at all.
Well, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most important factors of staying ahead with your competition.
Yes.
So, Shrenik, this said, How are you using technology to induce growth in your companies?
Yeah. So, they said, right, roti, kapda, makan.
Right.
Those are the three essentials. But I think the fourth one added to is today is internet or technology. Today, we live in a age where everything is through data and everything is through technology. And if we don't imbibe that into our ecosystem, or if we don't adapt to the changing environment, we're going to be obsolete. Look at very large brands, today who have become completely obsolete. And I can give you numerous examples who were at the top of their game about 10 years ago, and today today may have filed for bankruptcy. And this is purely because of non-adapting to the changing environment. And today's changing environment is fast-track technology in a very large way. So at our group as a whole, we have taken a digital transformation drive now. So not only from migrating to stronger ERP systems, which is ensuring that our end-to-end traceability of our product is stronger, but also to understand the consumer buying patterns and behaviors at the end. So this happens through our Salesforce automation, through our distribution management system, to ensuring all of these data are checked with business intelligence tools. And all of this is put together so that the decision making and planning, be it the manufacturing guys or be it the sales guys, gives them a lot of head start in terms of the data usage. Apart from that, we are also ensuring that the compliances get automated, because if you want to work in India today, you have a lot of compliances, and each of these compliances require a lot of human effort behind it. But today we have got digitized tools that can help you comply, while you are entering the data. So these are the kind of initiatives that we have taken forward. But at the end of this, I can tell you that in the next 5 years, because of the pandemic again, we are becoming more and more adaptive towards accepting newer changes in technology. And the idea would be to try and minimize the human effort in making reports or manual documents, try and make our offices as paperless as possible, try and do everything through your smartphone or through your laptops, so that we don't have to sit in a single place and follow the traditional systems that we've been doing for years behind us.
That's really a lot of technology coming into your business, and it's up to what the global companies are doing. So that's a good sign.
Yes.
Apart from this, are you doing anything specific to induce smart technologies into your businesses?
So
some examples.
Yeah. So I can give you a quick example. There is something called as an Industry 4.0.
Right.
Yeah. So where it's the IoT based ecosystem. Correct. Where most of the machines talk to the computers and give us the data that we require. In one of our plants now, we've started a demo project of this, where one of our rice milling units is going to go into complete Industry 4.0. Today we in fact have Industry 5.0 as well, which is being launched. Right. But as a first step of action, we are going to put sensors across all our machines to try and see if we can increase the efficiency of each of these machines. And imagine at 105% capacity utilization today for our manufacturing plant, if we are able to generate maybe 1% or 2% more output from the plant, the technology pays itself off within 2 to 3 months. Sometimes we feel that investing into technology is a line item in P&L, which goes into the loss side, right? But I think it's the best investment that you can do if you want to create a longevity for your business from here on.
Shrenik, how do you handle jobs and employments? Now we see that the pandemic has come in and people are jobless and they are looking for job.
Yeah.
The scenarios in cities or in rural areas are similar right now, and both the avenues are having people who are qualified and skilled. So is your company looking at employing these skills or training them and then employing them?
Yeah. So like I said, our focus has always been on creating jobs. If you look at each of our verticals, the objective is to try and we could have done a lot more with technology, but I think what is the point of creating a business if you're not able to create a large impact, right? Today we can sit into the air-conditioned offices with 10 people team and manage billions of dollars, but if you're actually not creating impact on the ground, what is that wealth worth? So our objective is very clear. Each of the businesses that we start now, we will focus on employing as many rural people as possible. That will include upskilling of their current skills that they possess. So along with our university, we have tied up with Skill India, We have tied up with ITI institutions, and this is to ensure that the right skill required for the industries is pre-prepared for them. We are starting multiple courses which are industry ready for students that can be taken immediately after completing your 12th as well. And this is to ensure that more and more people in India become employable. And in our businesses as such, if I have to talk, each of the verticals, like I said, is focusing and ensuring that we employ more and more people. So be it in our manufacturing facilities, be it in our offices, or be it in the frontline sales team, I think the objective is to focus on diversity as well. So more and more diversity, inclusions, ensuring that each of these people that are there with us develop their skills further as well. Because if we don't train them and if we don't create more and more jobs while training these people, we are essentially ensuring that in the next 5 years or 10 years, we are going to have a lot of people not knowing what is happening in the world.
So these courses that you've designed, they're coming from your university.
Yeah.
Can people take these courses online, or they have to come to the university and do it in person?
No, so I think we have an online program as well. So majority of the people we support them in coming to a physical education. I think the last 2 years of pandemic have taught us that we need to be omnipresent. Right. It is just not that you can focus on a physical way of education. We have our own education learning app as well, where we try and take students on the online programming ecosystem as well. And it is a mix. I think no education can be fully online or offline. And a lot of people thought that with pandemic it would 100% become online. But we are social beings, right? We want to go back to the physical education part. And I think the best year for a kid's grooming is the time that he spends in the school and colleges. So from that perspective, I think it is important for us to focus on both the line of the education vertical, both online and offline as well.
Well, thank you so much, Shrenik.
Yeah.
It was a real pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.